There is a Phineas and Ferb debate that has somehow followed people into adulthood. And it's not whether Phineas ever realized Isabella liked him. It's not whether Perry is the greatest secret agent in cartoon history. It's this: when exactly did Candace and Jeremy start dating? Because apparently, half the internet remembers Candace spending the entire series desperately trying to get her crush to notice her, and the other half remembers Jeremy acting like he had been her boyfriend since day one. And honestly, I think we're being gaslit. I'll give them this. Maybe it was a she fell first but he fell harder situation, but saying Candace and Jeremy were together the whole time and acting like I'm crazy for not realizing it is the ultimate gaslight. But I will say, after rewatching the show as an adult, I realized something that completely changed how I viewed their relationship. Jeremy wanted Candace from the start, like from the very start. The problem wasn't that Jeremy didn't like Candace. The problem was that I think Candace had herself convinced he didn't. And because the show is mostly told through Candace's perspective, we ended up believing it too. As a kid, I always thought their relationship was one-sided. Candace liked Jeremy. Jeremy was oblivious. Then eventually he started liking her back. Classic cartoon crush storyline. But rewatching these episodes as an adult feels like discovering a completely different show, because Jeremy spends years acting like a boyfriend while Candace continues behaving like she's trying to win over a guy who barely notices she exists. And somehow, we all fell for it. The first clue is in the earliest episodes. In the pilot, Candace talks about Jeremy like he's just that cute guy we know. Nothing about it suggests they're dating. Nothing suggests they're even close. It's framed exactly like a typical childhood crush, which is why what happens later feels so strange. Because Jeremy immediately starts giving off energy that is way more than casual friendship. Take Jerk de Soleil. Jeremy literally asks Candace if they should sit together to watch the show. Not exactly a marriage proposal, but it's one of those tiny moments that becomes interesting when you look back, because Jeremy is constantly looking for reasons to spend time with her. Then there's Journey to the Center of Candace. Jeremy has Candace's favorite sandwich named after her at his uncle's restaurant. And look, maybe that's not proof they're dating, but that's also not normal acquaintance behavior. That's something you do when you really like someone. Then we get one of the biggest moments in season 1, Out to Launch. Candace finally asks Jeremy to the dance, and Jeremy responds with a line that completely changes everything.
I've been waiting for you to ask me.
I've been waiting for you to ask me. Not sure, not I guess, not wow, really? He was waiting, meaning he was already hoping it would happen, meaning Candace wasn't chasing someone who wasn't interested. She was chasing someone who had been standing there waving green flags the entire time. Then there's Comet Carmillion. Candace finds out Jeremy came over specifically to check on her. Again, that's boyfriend behavior, or at least future boyfriend behavior. The point is that by the end of season 1, Jeremy isn't acting like a guy who just barely knows Candace. He's acting like a guy who has a huge crush on Candace, and somehow Candace still hasn't figured it out. Which brings us to season 2. And honestly, this is where things start getting ridiculous, because Jeremy becomes so obviously invested in Candace that it's almost impossible to believe she doesn't notice. In Deplane, he literally draws C+J inside a heart on her cast. That is middle school level crushing. You don't doodle initials inside hearts for people you aren't interested in. In the Baljeetles, they have nicknames for each other, proof they have a level of closeness that's beyond friendship. Then there's Nerdy Dancin'. Candace casually enters them as a pair. Not me, not Jeremy, us. At this point, they spend so much time together that everyone around them basically treats them like a couple. And maybe the biggest example is the Lizard Whisperer. Jeremy keeps a photo of Candace in his guitar case. A photo in his guitar case. I don't know how many more signals a guy can send before he starts carrying a giant billboard that says, I like you. Even Candace's mom notices. In Atlantis, Linda practically tells Candace that Jeremy likes her more than she realizes. The show is practically screaming the answer at this point, but Candace never fully accepts it. And because she doesn't accept it, neither do we. That's the genius of the writing. The audience experiences Jeremy through Candace's insecurities. Candace thinks she's pursuing Jeremy, so we think she's pursuing Jeremy. Candace thinks Jeremy is out of her league, so we think Jeremy is out of her league. Candace assumes every interaction is a small victory. Meanwhile, Jeremy is over here acting like they've been together for months or years. And honestly, is that why Jeremy always seems a little confused by Candace's antics? Because from Candace's point of view, every time she sees Jeremy, she has to impress him. She has to look cute. She has to say the perfect thing. She has to somehow make him realize she is girlfriend material. But from Jeremy's point of view, he is probably standing there like, Candace, you are already my girlfriend. Why are we doing all this? That explains why he is never as dramatic about their relationship relationship as Candace is. Candace is treating every conversation like an audition. Jeremy is treating it like he is hanging out with his girlfriend. She is spiraling because she thinks one awkward moment could ruin her chance with him. Meanwhile, Jeremy is probably thinking, that was kind of weird, but I still like you. We are literally going to see each other tomorrow. It makes so many of their scenes funnier in retrospect. Candace is trying to figure out whether Jeremy likes her. Jeremy is trying to figure out why his girlfriend is acting like they have never met, and that may be why he is so patient with her. He never seems annoyed that she is nervous around him. He does not make fun of her for overthinking. He just goes along with it, reassures her, and keeps showing up. Because in his mind, there is nothing to prove. He already chose her. Then we arrive at the moment that broke the internet before breaking the internet was a thing. Summer Belongs to You. The Paris scene. The scene that launched 1,000 fan debates because Jeremy casually refers to Candace as his girlfriend. Not future girlfriend, not girl I like, girlfriend. And Candace reacts like somebody just dropped a piano on her head because apparently this information is news to her. And honestly, it's news to us too. This is the moment where viewers split into two groups. Group 1 says, see, they were dating the whole time. Group 2 says, wait, what? I definitely belong to Group 2 because I could have sworn the show was building toward them eventually becoming a couple, not revealing they'd basically been one already. Jeremy even says he'd been waiting for Candace to ask him, which echoes the dance episode from years earlier. The guy has basically been standing at the finish line while Candace keeps running laps around the track. And what's funny is that Jeremy never seems confused. To him, their relationship progression feels natural. Of course they're together. Look at everything they've done. They've gone on dates, hung out constantly, called each other, spent time with each other's families, supported each other through ridiculous adventures. By Jeremy's standards, they were already functioning like a couple. Candace was the only person who hadn't updated the relationship status, which leads to my favorite theory. What if Candace wasn't just oblivious to Jeremy's feelings? What if Candace was so distracted by busting Phineas and Ferb that she genuinely forgot to acknowledge her own relationship? Think about it. Candace's entire existence revolves around her brothers. Every day she wakes up, finds an impossible invention, tries to expose it, fails, gets distracted, resets, repeat. This girl barely has enough mental energy to survive her own life. So is it really impossible that she got so caught up in her personal mission that she never stopped to define what she and Jeremy actually were? Because from the outside looking in, they absolutely look like a couple. Maybe not from episode 1, but definitely long before Paris. And that's why the "they were secretly dating the whole time" theory keeps surviving. Not because it's literally true, but because Jeremy's behavior makes it feel true. Now let's talk about something else that becomes really obvious when you rewatch as an adult. Jeremy is down bad. Seriously, for years, Candace fans acted like Jeremy was the prize, as if Candace was lucky he noticed her. No, that man was obsessed. He constantly sought her out, remembered details about her, supported her interests, checked on her when she was sick, saved mementos connected to her, waited patiently for her to make the next move, and never made her feel bad for being awkward. If my future partner isn't at least a little bit like Jeremy, I don't know if I want them, because cartoon crushes usually age terribly. Jeremy somehow ages better. The older you get, the more you realize how genuinely kind he is. And then there are the kisses. Summer Belongs to You, Happy New Year, the almost kiss in doofer size. By the later seasons, there isn't even a debate anymore. They're absolutely together. The funny part is realizing how long it took some of us to notice. I honestly think the show forgot to tell us they started dating, then slowly tried to add their relationship in like we wouldn't notice, because they never made a big announcement like most shows. There was never a dramatic, "Will you be my girlfriend?" episode. There was never a relationship status update. And because Candace never fully processed what was happening, neither did we. So were Candace and Jeremy dating the entire time? I still have no clue. But I don't think they were officially together from the pilot, like some people are trying to prove. I think Candace was still very much in her "please notice me" era at first. What I do think is that they were acting like a couple way before Candace ever acknowledged that they were one. Jeremy was already showing up, being supportive, hanging around her family, and treating her like she was his girlfriend, while Candace was still acting like she had to win him over. So maybe they were not technically dating from day one, but emotionally, socially, in every way that mattered except someone actually saying the words, they were basically together. Maybe it was our first introduction to a situation situationship. But the biggest twist wasn't that Jeremy loved Candace. The biggest twist was realizing he always did. And I still can't decide who was more oblivious, Candace or us. Now I want to hear from you. Were you one of the people who always knew Jeremy liked Candace from the start? Or did rewatching those scenes completely change your perspective? Let me know in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more cartoon deep dives. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!